You got to know when to fold them. We're going to be talking about whether or not you should sell off some of your rental portfolio today. And we're going to see. Should we? Should we not? I don't know. That's today's episode. Let's dive into it.
Here we are at our very first rental property.
Hey everyone, I'm Natalie Morris.
And I'm Clayton Morris.
And this is the show where we talk about your real estate portfolio and we share with you what we're going through. And that's exactly what we're going to do today, because we have a portion of our portfolio that I'm going to say we are fatigued about. I feel fatigue, owner fatigue.
Well,
and go ahead.
No. You want to let me talk at all?
Ahead.
You want to let me talk at all?
This is what it's like usually when you do the intro, where I sit there like this.
Because I want to get right to the point on this. So the point is that we had a package of 10 properties that we bought a number of years ago. And if you are been a longtime follower of our podcast and watched any of our videos, you know that this package we bought was an experimental package. We decided to do it in New Jersey, which perhaps against our better judgment, because high taxes, it's not landlord friendly, but the numbers on these particular duplexes that we bought made sense. It was near a military base, an expanding market. Okay, it made sense. But now, after a number of tenant turnovers, a number of renovation projects that we've had to deal with, some switching of property management. One of our main property management guys left that company, and so the next point of contact. There's been a whole lot of, I don't want to say drama, but fatigue. And so we're like, okay, at what point do you decide, let's, Kenny Rogers style, and know when to fold them?
Yeah, and so we don't have an answer right now. We just kind of wanted to work this out with you.
Bring you into our fatigue, if you will.
And so, okay, these package of 10, there is, I would say about a third of them still have the same owners as when we purchased it.
Tenants.
Tenants, sorry.
We are the owners.
That's right, we are. About a third of them we turned over, right?
Did a tenant turnover means going in and doing new flooring, updated cabinets, fixed wiring, plumbing, roof, all kinds of stuff.
We gave it like a really good shine up, not just like lipstick on a pig. We gave it our all, okay? And those tenants are still there. So those are new and they're ours. And then a third of them we also turned, and those new tenants were crappy.
Now define crappy.
Okay, I will. Here's the mistake I made, if I'm honest with it. The contractor that did the turn is like, hey, I know everyone here. I work a lot in this area. I'm going to do a great job for you. I'm going to do a great price, give you a great price. He did all of that. And then he also said, I'll also place tenants in the properties for you. Now, his tenant placement was dodgy, if I can use the colloquialism from
Right. He
British
didn't have a
language.
we were still working with a proper property management company, but
They were slow to place tenants.
Right.
That was my problem with them.
so we knew that he had placed tenants in other properties. This is what he had done. So I said, let's give him a chance and let's see what we can come up with here. Again, we were sort of using this as an experiment. We're trying out new contractors. We were trying out a new market. We were trying out, okay, can we try this different way of property management here? Again, an experiment.
Right. And so our property managers, they're a big national company. They do a pretty good job, but they were really slow to place tenants. And I felt like maybe they're just not, working hard enough. Maybe they're not really marketing the property. I don't know. And he seemed to be able to get tenants really quickly, but his tenants are all problem tenants. One of them he placed in there.
Are all of them problems?
He did 3 tenants and only one of them stuck. One of them, he ended up he paid the deposit, and then his girlfriend got in a fight with him and decided to leave the country, and he wanted his deposit back. It was dramatic. I don't remember the exact details. We ended up being able to keep that deposit because he put the deposit, didn't move in, half moved in, like he had some stuff there. It was a weird story. And then the other one, now this is a duplex. And the new tenant shares it with a tenant that's been there for many years, and she's a good tenant. She communicates well. She always pays on time. That's the old tenant. The new tenant comes in. He didn't run a proper credit check. When the city called me about the fact that she had trash all out in front of the house, he was like, oh, I know this tenant. She was evicted from the last one because she was dirty. She leaves her trash everywhere. She's so unsanitary that now the good tenant has so many extermination issues. She's got like bugs and rats that are coming from the new tenant because she is, I don't want to use a word that sounds like I'm insulting her
Dirty.
because I don't know her, but they're filthy,
Dirty.
right?
It's like Pigpen from the Peanuts
And
cartoon.
it makes me feel awful because the good tenant has all these problems with the bad tenant. I have tried to evict her now. It's been a 3-month process. But
Again,
because in New Jersey, I can't just do that.
So this is why we talk about how important it is to invest in landlord-friendly states, and New Jersey is not landlord-friendly.
No.
So what hurdles are keeping us from getting that tenant out? Why is it taking us so long? We've had to, in an eviction process in New Jersey, you need to hire a lawyer.
If an LLC owns the property, you need to have a lawyer that represents you in the eviction process, and that is not fast. So in the meantime, this poor lady, the good tenant, I hate to label them like this and
Why?
put people in these categories
There's
because
good tenants and
nobody
bad tenants.
is totally good or bad in this world. You know that.
Okay,
but
but what
if
is
you
it?
will just forgive us these labels.
No, I'm not. Don't be forgiving of labels. If a good tenant is someone that pays on time and is clean and takes care of the place they're renting.
Okay.
Right? And
She is
doesn't
a bad
disturb-
tenant from my perspective. That does not make her a bad person. Why does anyone act bad in this world is be out of powerlessness? We don't know why she's powerless. Okay. I just want you to forgive us calling this person a bad person. Okay. Because I'm not.
We're not calling her a bad person.
She's a bad tenant.
She's a bad tenant.
She's a bad neighbor. Okay.
Okay.
And these are things that are provable. We have pictures, we have violations from the city. She doesn't let the exterminator in. So anyway, she gave her own notice and gave herself 2 months. And we're like, oh, that's nice because not only are you a bad tenant, you're not paying. So she's non-payment for 4 months now. So she's behind by about $5,000.
And she's like, okay, I'll move out in 2 months.
In 2 months, so I'm giving myself an extra. So she's supposed to be gone in a couple of weeks, but that has been now 4 months of the good tenant calling me saying, please, I couldn't even host Thanksgiving in this house because it's so gross. I have a son that's disabled at home and we're having to use these like really toxic chemicals to get this filth that's like pouring into my house. It's awful. It's an awful story. And I don't know what to do because I can't really say to her, well, I'm evicting the neighbor. Like that's their privacy issues. I can't say that, right? I can say to her, I will keep paying for the exterminator. I can say to her, you can refer to the property manager and the lawyer. But this is a person-to-person contact, and it makes me feel awful because I want to say to her, I know, I'm so sorry, I'm trying to get her out, but I can't really say that. My hands are so tied here. And if I get one more text from her or another violation from the city, I'm just really fatigued here.
So bottom line on this property, this set of properties, we were considering, and I've already got a bunch of people who are interested in buying them in a heartbeat, who buy in this area and are interested in buying this package of 10 properties. Because I wouldn't want to just like sell one off or whatever in this particular area. And again, this was an experiment. So first, a big lesson for us is we are against our better judgment.
Right.
But we are not going to experiment again. We have tried and true markets that we know and trust because they are landlord friendly.
Because we've vetted the property managers, because we've vetted the contractors.
Because we are all in right now, really focused on new construction because we know it's a known quantity, right? We can figure out exactly what we're going to spend on the construction costs. We know, for instance, in Texas, where we're doing a lot of new construction, we can depend on that area because it's such a great market, and contractors are fantastic. It's the #1 landlord-friendly state in the country, which means, Texas does not put up with baloney. If you're not paying rent on a property, sorry, you're out, and you're out very quickly. So Texas is the #1 landlord-friendly state in the country. And there are other states that we invest in also that are also landlord-friendly. And we know the contractors. We have a great relationship with the property managers and all of those pieces. So this experiment has taught us quite a few things about this process.
Yes.
Now, we're sort of sitting here deciding what we want to do. Do we want to be perhaps irrational and sell these off? We'll likely be able to sell them for a profit. This package of properties.
Right, and the continuous turnover that we've had in the 2 or 3 years that we've owned it has been a good tax deduction for us. So even though the cash flow is relatively high, because this is New Jersey, the rents are a lot higher. So the cash flow, when it's up and running, is very good. And then we take sort of regular hits on it with the turnovers, and then that lowers our taxation. So it's not like it's a bad investment. It just makes me feel like I do not want to be doing this with my life. Like, is this my highest and best purpose, is like dealing with, the one contractor is like, oh, I'll get you a new tenant. I'm like, I'm good on your tenants.
No. See,
right?
I think what a big lesson, another big takeaway here is that we kind of stepped in and almost in some ways self-managed these properties. And that's another huge mistake. One thing that we always try to teach you here on this channel is get a property manager. Have a proper property management company handling these interactions with the tenants and the lawyers and getting tenants out if they're not paying. This should not be someone, and I don't even know how this particular tenant got your information. It was texting you back and forth. It was, again, mistake. So please learn your lessons from us. Do not self-manage your properties because it can cause this type of fatigue.
Yeah. And I don't know how to shut it down. I feel like such a jerk, I don't want to be like, you can't text me, I'm just the owner. It seems so elitist, but I also can't help you. Like, I cannot help you any faster because the law doesn't make it so that I can do anything. So I don't want to say like, oh, I'm above these problems, but I cannot help you faster.
No, there are problems.
So
our
frustrating.
Property. Our problems are property, but there are people in place that manage those issues. Right. That's why, you have employees in a company they have job descriptions. That's why you pay them.
Yes.
That's why we pay the property manager, right? So bottom line, be very careful if you're going to go into sort of a speculative market. I got a text or a direct message or something on Instagram or TikTok or something the other day from a viewer who said, hey, I'm considering doing this. And they had no experience in it. It sounded odd. I didn't really quite understand what they were going to try to do with this particular property, and it was unique and different, and that's great. But you just need to be educated on it. If you're going to try to reinvent the wheel here and try to do things that are outside of your comfort zone, it's going to cause problems. And I think we kind of knew that going into it. In some ways, we were doing it because we thought it was a great investment. The numbers made sense, but we also thought we could show you some of those experiences here on the channel. If you can watch the renovation series that I did, watch it going through and renovating the property from beginning to end, you can watch that. That's one of these particular houses that we did a full renovation on. I believe that one then got trashed. Is that the one?
Yeah,
sadly,
that's the one that has like rats and worms and stuff. But,
because the woman was such a bad tenant and then basically destroyed the property after we did the renovation.
She's still
currently
there. And
thanks, New Jersey.
Yeah, we still pay the utility bills while she lives there for free. It's not past tense. It will be soon, I hope. But God help us. And if anyone should be doing this experimental stuff, it's us. This is our business, right? We were hoping to maybe expand. We were the right people to give it a try. Most people listening or watching to this, you are not the right kind of person to give that a try, right?
So and you might be scared about it.
There are people with an appetite for newness. That was us. Now my appetite is satiated. And there are others who will try that. And that may work out great for them, right? There are people with no appetite for newness. They just need it to work. That most likely is you. We hope that for you. But hopefully you learn from our mistakes. That's the whole point of videos like this.
Exactly. So learn from us. Learn from what we're going through. And at the bottom line also in this thing, 7 out of 10 of them are currently rented. And so we're deciding right now what we want to do. Do we want to get these other tenants back into 3 and then sell the whole package off again? We'll decide. We'll decide. And we'll let you know. We'll tell you kind of what our updates here on the show about our journey with this experimental market. So that's today's episode. Thanks so much, everyone. Hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Share this with someone that you think could benefit from this. And we want you to take action, though. Don't be afraid just because we had some troubling stories here. Take action, become a real estate investor, because I still believe it's the #1 way to build wealth. We'll see you next time.